Hello everybody, I am going to show you the structures of the urinary system. This is a kidney and you see the inside the kidney there are many structures. We'll talk about that. First, let's see the outer covering of the kidney, that is called the renal capsule. So this is the renal capsule, okay. And then inside the kidney, if you make a section and see inside, this outer part is called the cortex and this inner part is called the medulla. So here, the line outer is the cortex and inner part is the medulla, okay. Now in the medulla you see these triangular or pyramid shaped structures. These are called renal pyramids. So simple, pyramid shaped structures, and the pointed inner part of the renal pyramid is called the papilla. So this is the renal papilla. So this is the renal pyramid and this is the papilla, okay. And the papilla is facing towards this cup shaped or funnel shaped structure. This is called the minor calyx. What happens, the urine is secreted here from the papilla into the minor calyx, okay. And each papilla gives urine to each minor calyx. So minor calyces you see here, they get the urine from the papilla of the pyramids and then they join together. Here you see minor calyces, they join together to form the major calyx. So from the minor calyces urine is given to the major calyx. Then from the major calyces the urine is given to the renal pelvis. So this white part is called the renal pelvis, okay. And then from the renal pelvis the urine enters into the ureter. So the renal pelvis gets out and becomes the ureter, and this area of the kidney where the ureter gets out and the blood vessels also get in or out, this area is called the hilum. So hilum is the indentation or area through which the ureter and arteries, veins, the blood vessels pass, okay. So this is the hilum. So capsule, outer cortex, inner medulla, pyramids, papilla, minor calyces, major calyces. This is a major calyx, renal pelvis, ureter, okay. And in between the pyramids, these structures, see here, those are actually from the cortex, the tissue gets into the medulla like this, in between the pyramids, and these are called the renal columns. It's columnar structures like this. So renal columns are in between the pyramids, okay. And each pyramid and adjacent columns together form a renal lobe. Now we'll see the arteries inside the kidney. So this is the renal artery, and renal artery divides into two segmental arteries, okay. And then from the segmental arteries branches arise and they pass through the columns you see here between the pyramids, and this artery is called interlobar, in between the lobes. So these are interlobar arteries, okay. Then from the interlobar the arteries arise, or branches of interlobar, they go along the pyramid, the base of the pyramid between the cortex and medulla, and these are called the arcuate arteries. So this is interlobar, this is interlobar, and this is arcuate, okay. Interlobar, arcuate. And from arcuate, you see these arteries arise, and these are called cortical radiate arteries, also called interlobular. So cortical radiate. These are in the cortex, so cortical. Okay, and then from cortical radiate, you see here tiny arteries. Those are called afferent arterioles. Arise from the cortical radiate. Make sense? Now here you can see just one pyramid. You see here. This is the cortex, and this is one pyramid. So this is the papilla, and now you see this is the interlobar artery. This is the arcuate artery, and from arcuate you see the cortical radiate in the cortex, and from cortical radiate these are afferent arterioles, and afferent arterioles form a tuft or ball of capillary that is called the glomerulus, and then from the glomerulus the blood gets out through the efferent arteriole. So this is afferent, brings the blood into the glomerulus, and then efferent takes the blood out from the glomerulus. Here you can see again cortical radiate, afferent, efferent, and these structures are called the renal corpuscles, and inside the renal corpuscles you have the glomerulus, the tuft of capillary or ball of capillary. Okay, so inside each corpuscle you have a glomerulus. Now if I see just one glomerulus, this part here you can see clearly, this is afferent arteriole, brings the blood into the glomerulus, and this is the efferent, starts with E, efferent arteriole, takes the blood out from the glomerulus. Okay, and this whole thing is the corpuscle. So you can see here the corpuscle has been dissected, and this covering, the white covering here, this is called the Bowman's capsule or glomerular capsule. Okay, capsule is the covering of the glomerulus. Okay, and this part is actually this white part of the nephron. This is called this is the uppermost part of the ascending limb of loop of Henle, and these cells are called the macula densa in the wall of the nephron, and these cells in the wall of the afferent arteriole are called the granular cells. These granular cells secrete renin, which is very important to regulate the blood pressure. Okay, so let's go quickly. This is a kidney, outer covering capsule, renal capsule, outer part inside is the cortex, medulla, pyramids, papilla, minor calyces, major calyx, renal pelvis. This white part becomes ureter. Okay, so now the artery, renal vein. Renal artery divides into two segmental, and from the segmental arteries the branches enter into the renal columns in between the pyramids, and these are called the interlobar arteries, and then from the interlobar the branches go along the base of the pyramid. These are called the arcuate arteries, and from arcuate these are the cortical radiate arteries. Make sense? And now if you see just one cortical radiate artery, this is a cortical radiate artery, this is the arcuate. From cortical radiate you see many afferent arterioles arise and enter into the glomerulus, the capillary ball, and then from the glomerulus the arteriole takes the blood out, that is the afferent arteriole. Now if I see this part here, this is the afferent arteriole, glomerulus, afferent arteriole. Okay, this is the covering, that white one. This is the Bowman's capsule. This whole structure is the corpuscle. Okay, so this is one corpuscle, and only the covering is called the Bowman's capsule or glomerular capsule. Okay. Now we'll see the parts of a nephron. This is one nephron. So the first part of the nephron is the proximal convoluted tubule. Okay. And then this is the loop of Henle. You see loop-like structure. This is the descending limb. This is the ascending limb. And then this is distal convoluted tubule. So you see two parts are convoluted, not straight. This is the first part called the proximal, and this is the last part, that's the distal convoluted tubule. And from the distal convoluted tubule, urine goes into the collecting duct. So this is a collecting duct. So from many nephrons, you see here, urine enters into the collecting duct or collected by the collecting duct. Okay. So this is the end of the distal convoluted tubule. This is the end of another distal convoluted tubule. This is another, right? So this is a short-looped nephron called the cortical nephron, and you see this one, long loop of Henle. So this is called the juxtamedullary nephron. So in human kidney, there are two types of nephrons. Short loop, that's the cortical nephron. Long loop is the juxtamedullary nephron. Again, this is the glomerulus. This is the Bowman's capsule. This is proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule, and collecting duct. Okay, so those are the parts of